came so far from dreams. The path was hard for me. They thought we fall, you see. Well, look at us now, look at us now. We make it hot when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. We shut it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we. Tell me who better than we. We saw in the places you never could reach. When we walk in that spot, don't hear none of you speak. Shh, do you want peace or the peace? A king about to put you to sleep. Listen, my team is elite. You not even qualified to compete. He's starving, he barely can eat. I guess that's why he always itching for beef. So I put him on ice and I told him to chill. Close your mouth if you can't pay for the meal. Making statements that you know you don't mean. Nice guy trying to act like he mean. Keep it a buck, keep it a bean. Attitudes will put you dudes in the beam. Isekai, he don't live in reality. Shake back off, come on fatality. Yeah, how you gon' hate when you mirror us? He think he a star, he ain't serious. X him out, we not on the same frequency. If you broke, you ain't hearing us. Work the screw, anime, that's how I feel, period. We winning, that's making them furious. We make it high when we on the scene, yeah, that's 1,000 degrees. I got a grind for me and my team, yeah, you know we gon' eat. You see the crowds when we come around, you know that I roll with some kings. You shut it down, I don't hear a sound, but I ask you who better than we.
Yo, what it do, guys? It is your boy, Leon Mookie here, back with you with another new part of What If Izuku Was the Son of Kazuma Kiryu. This is part 3, and damn, it's been almost since I last uploaded, like at least that of a month, 2 months or so. Sorry, guys. I've been so busy, to be honest. Not to mention, I feel like this would be a good time to, well, upload this chapter this month after all, given that, if you guys don't know, Yakuza 0, the director's cut edition, basically releases on that of the Nintendo Switch 2. And even though the Switch 2 is literally nothing but a damn brick, and I have no plans on getting a Switch 2 anytime soon, I still can't help but respect Sega trying their best to advertise this game a lot for the Switch 2 being one of its, well, launch games after all, alongside Mario Kart and Donkey Kong. So here we are. Any rate, let's go with that of a pretty necessary recap. In the last part, Izuku has been training months in to handle that of One For All. But thanks to his training being trained by that of, well, his father, Manjima, Saejima, Tanimura, Akiyama, and Daigo, he's basically on his way on inheriting One For All a lot more quicker than he would have in canon. However, while on his way to school, he soon runs into that of those who are members of Bleach Japan movement. Finding them kind of creepy, he did some research on them and finding out that they've also been causing quite a bit of a stir within that of Japan, mainly attacking that of the Tojo clan and also immigrants as well. Wanting to figure out on how a small government party basically has so much control, he asked that of All Might to see if he can look into some things, while also asking if he can have at least 1 week off during his summer break, mainly so he can go back home to Okinawa and to Morning Glory Orphanage, just so he can basically see his family and his dad's grave. But first, he still needs to understand on what's going on with the Tojo clan, finding out that Bleach Japan is working with that of the Omi Alliance. And not only that, also finding out about some crazy meeting happening in Sotenbori, the HQ of the Omi Alliance. However, Izuku needed a ride and somebody to spot him for that of the bullet train ride there. So he called in that of an old friend being Rumi Iseiji Ayama, aka the number 7 pro, Mirako. Arriving at that of Sotenbori and sneaking into that of the Omi Alliance HQ, he arrives, but noticing that of his uncles, Manjima, Saejima, and Daigo, with even that of select other people as well, especially meeting a weird guy by the name of Ichiban Kasuga. So, with all that said, let's get into this, shall we, guys? Arriving at that of the Dragon Chambers of the Omi Alliance, basically the main meeting room for that of the head of the Omi Alliance. with having that of so many people in this room, which is there's quite a bit of tension everywhere. Within, Izuku couldn't help but say, "So, care to explain the situation?" Within, as Daigo was about to say something, that's when Arakawa soon spoke up saying, "Kiryu-san, please, I understand that you're wanting to understand, but allow us to bring things into more perspective, actually." Within, he'll begin to explaining about that of Ryoki's 3K plan, basically not only crippled the Tojo, but was close to crippling a lot of other Yakuza families all across Japan. But the Tojo specifically, mainly because, which led to that of Daigo, Saejima, and Manjima to go into hiding for temporarily. Within hearing this, Izuku looking back at his uncles, wondering why they would need to go into hiding to begin with. Within, Manjima saying, "Izu-chan, you expect me to basically go into parliament and fight against a bunch of politicians? You call that a good time of fighting?" With Izuku wanting to say something, with saying, "Good point, Arakawa-san, could you?" Within saying, "Of course." As for the reason on why Saejima-san and Manjima-san are even here, nobody knows that they're even here to begin with, outside of everybody in this room currently. Within hearing that, Izuku couldn't help but basically cross his arms, leaning back on his chair, saying, "That makes way too much sense. Even if the Tojo and Omi may have some kind of temporary alliance right now, no way in hell any low-level thug would basically let them wander this place freely as they wish, after all." Within, the man known as Ichiban soon spoke up saying, "Wait, if that's the case, then why? Arakawa-san, why would you come to that of the Omi after all?" Within, Daigo soon spoke up saying, "That was my orders, actually." Within, looking at that of the slick black hair man and saying, "I needed somebody." The Yakuza has become quite nothing but tools, especially given all the years that have gone by. The fourth chairman stepped down, with Izuku looking down and thinking about that of his dad. But soon, Daigo saying, "That's why, to put an end to that of Ryoki's 3K plan. I have been in contact with that of Watase-san. Within hearing that name, Izuku saying, Watase-san? You mean the current chairman of the Omi Alliance? The same guy that respected that of my father? Within a guy wearing that of blue jacket, that of gray pants, and has quite that of the messy hairstyle, with that of a beard, as this being one of Ichiban's party members, Adachi, saying, wait, you mean the Watase? I remember him being in prison for the past few years, given the incident that happened all the way 4 years ago, during the war between the Omi Alliance and the Tojo clan. You're saying that he's coming out this year and you've been talking with him also in prison? How the hell did the guards not know about this? Within, Date saying, Yakuza have their ways out to get behind that of police, and also even that of the pro heroes themselves. We've been around for years now. We're not as dumb as they think we are. Within, Daigo saying, all the same, Watase-san and I have already made the decision. To put an end to the 3K plan, we also have to put an end to both the Tojo and Omi Alliance. Within, hearing this, Izuku's eyes widening alongside that of Ichiban, with both of them saying, you can't be serious! Within, soon, both of them couldn't help but blush again. However, getting out of that blush, Izuku saying, Uncle Daigo, you can't shut down the Tojo clan after everything Dad did for the Tojo. Surely there has to be other ways besides disbanding the Tojo clan as a whole. Within, Saejima going over to Izuku, but then saying, Izuku, I understand how you feel. Trust me, bro and I were actually not as happy about that too when we heard about the plan. Within, looking at that of Majima, saying, Uncle Majima? Within, soon Majima sighing, saying, trust me, Izu-chan, I was not happy about hearing this from the 6th chairman too. But to be honest, I think this is the best chance we can get to put an end to all of this. Within, Arakawa soon spoke up saying, Watase-san is also on board with this. You've seen what the Omi Alliance has become over the years, especially now they have been, even though the Omi Alliance may be the biggest and strongest and most wealthy Yakuza families, they have been nothing but pawns, tools, used by that of others. And currently now, it hasn't changed at all. They're still being used. And this time by my own son. All just to basically get back at me in the Yakuza. Within, Jui Han soon spoke up saying, it's a pretty logical explanation and plan. If there's no Yakuza, the 3K plan basically is put an end. They would lose their momentum. They would lose all motivation and reasoning to even keep on fighting after all. If there's no more Yakuza, no more 3K, no more support for the government, and no more support from the pro heroes since the main target is now disbanded. It's wise and quite honorable to be honest. Within hearing this, Ichiban saying, still, does it have to come at the end of the Tojo? Within, Arakawa looking at that of Ichiban saying, Ichi, trust me, I understand how you feel. But put an ending to all of these schemes, this manipulation. Both of the biggest Yakuza clans must be dissolved right here and now. With the Omi Alliance's strongest members now in that of Kamurocho and also Yokohama as well, it only makes sense that this is our perfect opportunity to strike when all that's left is that of its lesser known members and weakest members are here. So now this is the time for Watase and Daigo-san to be the ones to put an end to this. With that, Ichiban saying, I get that. But even so, what's going to happen now? Then, Daigo saying, Watase and I figured that we're going to have to face against a little bit of, opposition. Best thing we can get is the reasons on why Saejima-san and Manjima-san are here as bodyguards. We were hoping that the rest of you could help us out in this as well. Within, looking at that of Izuku saying, even you too, Izuku. Within, saying, wait, really? With soon, Ichiban saying, wait, you're really gonna bring in the kid? Then Izuku saying, hey, don't underestimate me. I'm more than what you expect. And besides, the Tojo is more than just a Yakuza family. The people in that clan are family to me as well. No way in hell I'm just gonna stay out of this. Last time I checked, even though you're a former Yakuza, you're still also civilian too. So shouldn't you not get involved in this as well? Within, Ichiban saying, hey, just as you said, I am a former Yakuza. That means I do have a right to be in here, unlike you, kid, saying, oh, prove it. Within, both having that of lightning basically sparking between the two. Within, a man with that of a, somewhat bushy fro and glasses and almost looking like that of a homeless man, this being Nanba, couldn't help but laugh, but also looking at that of Adachi saying, seriously, you forget that he almost acts like a kid some of the time. Within, Adachi saying, definitely. As a young woman couldn't help but also sigh, Sahiko, or Sai-chan, as her friends like to call her, couldn't help but say, Ichiban, you really do know you're arguing with that of a teenager, right? With Ichi saying, hey, he started it. But soon, everybody still couldn't help but laugh. Izuku having an idea saying, also, to make this, legitimate, you're going to need a pro hero to witness that of the disillusionment of both the Omi Alliance and the Tojo clan, right? Daigo could up and say, it would legitimize things. Most police and pro heroes would see this as more as a scapegoat. Possibly even make Ryoki and possibly those of Bleach Japan a lot more skeptic about this. Well, we haven't found a pro hero willing to basically help us out yet. But then Izuku smiling saying, I think I know a pro hero that's willing to help out. She's currently here in Sultan Bori as we speak. But then everybody wondered who Izuku's thinking about before he mentions Mirako. Within, heading back outside of the Omi HQ, explained that the disillusionment will basically be tomorrow morning. So they need that of a good night's sleep and to prepare. However, Izuku went to explain things to that of Mirako. However, it's not hard to basically track the woman down. When people basically talk about that, the number 7 pro currently in the Kansai region and also in Osaka after all, especially in Sotenbori. You can also hear that of tons of crashes, destruction, and basically people being sent flying halfway across the street. With Izuku currently looking at that of the woman putting a guy almost right over his head and right beside him being Saejima. But then Saejima can't help but basically hum a little bit saying, she's improved, her form's got a little better. But then Izuku saying, how long has it been since you last seen her? But then saying, at least about that of 2 years ago, since I got out of prison 3 years ago after all. She came in contact with me as soon as she could, and let's just say she was not happy about all the times where I got in prison, and also escaped prison too. But then he's saying, figures, after all, she's a pro hero now. Ironic she's a pro hero, given back in the day she was basically quite the, hellspawn of a child, especially during her middle school and high school years, I heard. Especially given she was a former vigilante of all things. Yeah, that reminds me of days back in the day. Then, taking a big sigh, saying, then let's inform her. As Mirako having to stay around, giving out that of reports to that of the cops and also the nearby pros as well, who mainly just sat around seeing Mirako basically do her thing. But then, noticing that of Izuku and also Saejima, as soon as she basically runs towards the two, she does that of a powerful spin kick, as then she's saying, Lunar Arc! However, Izuku stepped out of the way. Before then, Saejima brings up his right arm, before then stopping Mirako's Lunar Arc special move without even breaking a sweat. However, there was at least that of a pretty massive crater in the street now because of it. With Saejima not looking that impressed, with, however, Mirako having that of a pure and utter bloodlusty grin on her face. Within, she's saying, been a long time, master. Within, Sajima's saying, it's only been 2 years, Rumi. Within, no longer basically trying to crush that of her master, she flips back up into the air before then landing on her feet. And she still couldn't help but have that of a menacing grin on her face. Before then, soon, Izuku saying, I forget that this is how you two basically greet one another. With Sajima saying, it's only how she greets me, nothing more, nothing less. But I won't lie, shows on how much spirit she's got no matter what gets in her way. Within, a few of the pros alongside the police were about to step in. Within, Mirako saying, stay out of this, we're not really fighting, he's not a villain, he's just my own master. Don't you all got the jobs to do? Within hearing that, that's when all the pros and police soon basically walk off, while some of the police gathering that of the villains that got, sent flying everywhere. Within, Izuku saying, it's only been a few hours and yet you've already kicked the hell out of tons of villains. Within saying, half of them were villains while the other half were basically Omi Alliance punks. Nothing more and nothing less. Within, Izuku saying, figures. Before then, Sajima saying, Rumi, I have a favor to ask of you. If it's not too much it's not too much for me to say. Within, Rumi saying, oh, what do you got, master? Within, Sajima begins to explain the situation about tomorrow morning. Within realizing, so you want me to basically oversee the disillusionment of both the Tojo and Omi Alliance. Is that correct? Within, soon Izuku saying, that sums it up, yeah. Within, she's saying, why the hell not? Might actually boost up my credibility in the rankings, but I don't give a damn about that. I get a chance to beat the hell out of some Omi Alliance strong fighters. Within, Sajima saying, most definitely it's just going to be weaker grunts and mobs. Now, the stronger members are currently out of Sultan Bori right now. Within, hearing that, Rumi couldn't help but basically groan and out of annoyance saying, no wonder all the freaking mobs from the Omi that were so damn weak. The strong people are basically gone. Figures as much. Within hearing that, he's saying, even so, shouldn't be taking these guys down the more important? And I thought if you of all people would be tired of seeing Uncle Sajima in prison all the time. Then, hearing that, Rumi couldn't help but narrow her eyes at Izuku, before then sighing, saying, damn it, I hate when you're right all the damn time, you greenette bastard. Fine, yeah. Alright, let's do this. As long as it keeps Sensei out of prison, then I could care less. Although, you are going to need to send that of Daigo-san, alongside that of Watase-san, to the nearby prison, to nearby Sultan Bori police station, so you can get their statements and say that they have been officially disillusioned after all. A pro hero's words, especially from a top 10 pros, would basically make this legitimize. Within hearing that, she couldn't help but sigh, saying, figures as much. Alright, fine, let's get this over with. Within, Sajima saying, thank you, Rumi. I truly appreciate it. Within saying, yeah, whatever. Now you should get going before a lot of people thinks that you and I are basically connected. Within, Sajima saying, but we are connected, though. Within, she's saying, just go. And you. Within, she pointing at that of Izuku saying, me? You, me, karaoke. I'm bored right now. Within, Izuku wanted to argue before then realizing, I could go for a good karaoke right now, too. Let's do it. As the two head off, that's when Sajima saying, I could have gone for some karaoke as well. Within, Sajima just sighing, saying, I should let them have their fun. With that, it led to that of a pretty good night of karaoke between Izuku and Rumi, actually, before heading back to their hotel room for the time. Within, Mirako saying, so, are you really okay with this, Midoriya? Within, saying, okay with what? Saying, as she couldn't help but narrow her eyes a little bit, basically clarifying what she's saying, are you okay with basically the disillusionment of the Tojo clan? Within, getting back in their hotel room before noticing, saying, honestly, no, I'm not. I'm not okay with it. But then she was about to say something before Izuku saying, don't get me wrong, the Tojo have done some pretty stupid things over the years. And I mean really, really stupid things. But if I'm going to be honest, I think this may be the best, to be fair. A lot of its members have basically gone behind that of Daigo-san's back and done some pretty stupid things. Many of them have basically caused a lot of problems for heroes and for my family alike. But the Tojo clan is also my family too. And to be honest, the members who basically want to do good things and want to help others, even while basically being Yakuza, are suffering as well. This is the only way to be free. And honestly, I think it's a good way for for my uncles to be free from my dad's legacy. Within hearing that, saying, you mean Kiryu's legacy? The ideal Yakuza. The Yakuza, as people have been calling him lately. Nobody can live up to that legacy and what it means to be my father. Hell, I don't even think I'm able to. Within hearing this, Rumi couldn't help but basically narrow her eyes before going over to Izuku and slapping him upside the head, saying, ow! What the hell? Within saying, then stop trying to live up to him. Be your own person, damn it. Then Izuku, eyes widening, saying, wait, be myself? With Mirako basically explaining what she meant, saying, be Izuku Midoriya. Be the son of the Dragon of Dojima. Just be you. You're going to become a hero, right? So you better start acting like it too. Within hearing that, Izuku couldn't help but basically smile, saying, yeah, I guess you're right. Thanks, Rumi-san. Within Mirako couldn't help but basically blush, saying, whatever. If you need, I'm going to go to bed since we got to get up early for what's to come. But then she's saying, also, thanks for the karaoke. It was fun. But then Izuku couldn't help but laugh a little bit, saying, I should be asking you that too. Normally I always go by myself, to be honest, and it was fun having with somebody else. With that, the two get ready to head to bed before wake up early for a meeting. A few hours later, heading back at that of the Omi Alliance, seeing that of several members from that of both the Omi and Tojo. Within even seeing that of Ichiban's party too. Within, soon Ichi goes to that of Izuku, saying, hey, Kiryu-san, wasn't it? Saying, yeah, Kasuga-san, please, just call me Ichiban, or Ichi, for short. Saying, okay, Ichi-san. Quite nervous. Not only that, you can even feel the tension in the air. Within, Ichiban saying, yeah, a lot of Yakuza from both clans, and you can even tell half of them are basically glaring at each other. Honestly, if Watase-san and Daigo-san don't show up, this could be a powder cake just waiting to happen. But then somebody saying, what the hell are you all doing here? But then seeing that of a quite muscular man wearing a gray suit and a quite well-kept haircut with that of a beard and mustache, as this being a lieutenant of Arakawa, a guy by the name of Go Tendo. Within, everybody feeling unease except Izuku, saying, who the heck is this guy? Tendo saying, give me one good reason on why I shouldn't kick your asses out of here, especially being a bunch of civilians and outsiders. Within, Arakawa soon walked up saying, it's okay, Tendo. They're with me. Within, hearing this, the man couldn't help but scoff, saying, if Arakawa-san vouches for you, then I guess it's okay. Just don't cause any trouble, that's all. Within him walking off, but soon, Arakawa-san apologies. Within, Izuku saying, it's okay. It's even Ichi saying, no problems, Arakawa-san. Within, as Arakawa also walks away, that's when Namba soon basically comes up saying, wait, I think I know Tendo actually. I remember him from a box. He's a pretty well-renowned boxer. Within, he's saying, wait, he's a boxer? Adachi remembers saying, yeah, now I remember, Go Tendo. He was a pretty up-and-coming boxer, actually, back in the day. A few years back. However, there are rumors that he got kicked out of the league, mainly because of a few things. First was him basically rigging fixed matches. And then, I hear the thing that basically got him kicked out entirely was killing a boxer that was basically with his, sponsor's gym during a spar. Within, Izuku saying, actually, now I think about it, I've heard some rumors about a guy in the underground basically causing quite a bit of a stir. They say that he was able to basically beat and kill his opponents with one punch alone. But after that, I hear that he basically went off the grid. Some even say he was taken in by that of a Yakuza family. Is it possible that Tendo's that same guy? Before Izuku could ponder on this, that's when somebody from the stage walks up, as this being a man, and that's of a grayish-white suit with a clean-cut shaven beard and also that of a clean-cut slick-back hair. This being the current chairman of the Omi Alliance, Masaru Watase. With then seeing the man, as Izuku couldn't help but remember back then when he met Watase once, before he went to prison actually. It was during the events of after the events of Yakuza 5. After seeing that of Kiryu in the hospital, soon Izuku and Inko were about to leave. However, they soon noticed that of tons of Yakuza right in front of the hospital. Before then, seeing that of Watase in his white suit and all, with taking off his sunglasses. Before then saying, by any chance, are the two of you Kiryu-san's family? But then, Inko, feeling kind of worried and scared, is saying, who wants to know? As trying to protect her son. However, Izuku not wanting to stand back after all, as even though he's learned a little bit of heat at this time, he wants to protect his mother. Within him basically bowing his head saying, I would like to apologize for my actions to that of your husband and father. Within, all the other members of that of his family basically bow their heads too. Within, Izuku and Inko completely caught off guard and shocked, before Watase continues to apologize, saying that he always wanted to meet and basically battle Kiryu back during his younger years when he was a Yakuza, knowing how much of a strong fighter he is. Not to mention, he doesn't deserve to be called a Yakuza, especially an Yakuza of Kiryu's caliber, until he finally atones for his actions for what he's done. Even though he's a kind of Yakuza who doesn't want to involve innocent people, during this entire war, he did exactly that. It goes against his principles after all. So to make up for his mistakes, he wishes to support and also help out that of Kiryu's family. Anytime that they come into that of a problem or a pickle, don't be afraid to call. With that, Inko's still a little bit skeptic. However, Izuku, on the other hand, couldn't help but admire Watase for that, because it shows a real man basically willing to bring up their faults after all. Within soon getting out of those memories, then Watase saying, thank you all for coming, those of both that of the Omi and Tojo. It warms my heart seeing these many of you come here. However, this is an important matter, and that will change the entirety of both the Omi and Tojo together. Before then, removing that of a letter from his suit, before unfolding it and reading it say, I, as chairman of the Omi Alliance, head of the Watase family, hereby state that the Omi Alliance, under that and all of its families, will be disbanded. Henceforth whatsoever. All operations under the Omi Alliance will be put to an end as well. This I swear, this as that of the last chairman of the Omi. Within hearing that, everybody was completely shocked, especially from the Omi, Within, those from the Tojo couldn't help but smile and about to basically get ready to celebrate. However, then, entering on the stage as well, being Dio. Within saying, and I, 6th chairman of the Tojo clan, Daigo Dojima, have also made a decision as well. As 6th chairman, I have declared the Tojo clan disbanded as well. All operations and facilities under that of the Tojo will be dismantled and shut down as well. This, as the last member and head of the Dojima family and Tojo clan as a whole. But then, even those of the Tojo couldn't help but be completely shocked and surprised and felt betrayed, with a few members basically screaming, "You bastards! You can't do this to us! What the hell is wrong with you? You can't do this! You damn traitors! You betrayed us!" Within, that's when Namba's saying, "Well, looks like it worked." Zhao couldn't help but laugh a little bit, saying, "Well, they're all riled up, aren't they?" But then a few members were about to leave. However, that's when the doors soon closed. Before then, entering that of side entrances, being Saejima and Manjima. But then he's saying, "I was wondering when you two were gonna show up. Just had to enter in a cool way, didn't you?" But then Manjima couldn't help but laugh, saying, "Izu-chan, you moon me with such accusations like that." But Saejima couldn't help but laugh a little bit, saying, "You know that's the case, bro." With Manjima basically pouting at that of Saejima. Within, Izuku couldn't help but laugh. However, noticing at that of the entrance with many Yakuza members basically stepping back and some basically terrified, as the person basically at that of the entranceway is Mirako, with her basically pharaoh grin and all. Before then, she couldn't help but basically slam her fist in the palm of her hand, saying, "So, who's up for an ass kicking first?" Within, Ichiban couldn't help but get a little bit excited, as one Yakuza member basically freaking out, rushing towards the stage, as Izuku and Ichiban are about to attack, or about to basically knock the guy on his ass. That's when a guy basically giving him a 1-2 right jabs basically knocked the guy on his ass, as this being Tendo. Within, Ichiban's shocked, saying, "Tendo, what are you?" Saying, "Hey, if this is a disillusionment, guess we got no choice. To be honest, gives me a good excuse to beat the shit out of these guys." As he gets into his boxer stance. But then he's saying, "I guess even guys like you have that of a heart of gold." With those in Ichi's party a little bit worried. However, Ichiban saying, "We got nothing to worry about. After all, not only we got that of a pro hero from the top 10, as you guys say, but we also got that of 2 of the most legendary Yakuza by our side. No way in hell we're gonna lose, as this all-out brawl is about to begin." And that's it. And what the hell are you guys wearing? With Izuku basically freaking out, seeing that of Ichiban and his friends' outfits, as Zhao and Jui Han basically look the same. However, it's basically, Ichi, Saiko, Namba, and basically Adachi that look really, really weird, leaving that of the green net completely and utterly shocked by this, as Ichiban was about to explain on why the heck he looks like that of a guy in a weird suit of armor, wielding that of a golden bat with barbed wire on it, as then the others just basically scream out, "It's Ichiban's quirk." Within, Ichi saying, "I wouldn't say it that right." Within, Izuku saying, "Well, I got to understand even more. Till then," within getting into his fighting stance, saying, "Let's get this over with. Bring it!" As the fight, the mob of Yakuza and the best Yakuza and a pro hero is about to begin. And truly, that is it. Thank you guys for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Please tell me what you guys think in the comments below. Hope to read them. Sorry about that little gag at the very end. Honestly, I just had to. I was trying to build up to what about that of, well, Ichiban's whole seeing things from that of, well, a RPG and gamer standpoint after all, and basically made it to be like his quirk. I wanted to be quite funny, to be honest. Also, sorry about the cliffhanger as well. As much as I wanted to basically go into this, and trust me, I really did, I had to basically cut off the script and had to make the next part afterwards. Mainly because, well, I wanted this to be more of a Izuku getting to know about that of Ichiban and all that. Making the two quite similar in one way or another, actually. Their idolization for that of their father figures, to be fair. So yeah, any rate, if you guys like this, please like, comment, and subscribe. Hit that bell notification key to date my videos uploaded to the channel. Also, please check out my Discord, my gaming channel, my side channel, my other channel, my Patreon, my Cash App, and also my PayPal. All link in description below. So, with all that said, this is Leon Mookie, signing out. Later guys, hope you all take care. Do your thing and close it off, Shiro.
Hi everyone, this is White Fox. If you liked Leon's video, click the video on the left to see the most recent one. And if you want to see more of this, click the subscribe button and notification bell and check out his playlists. If you still haven't subscribed, do so in the center. With that said, I hope to see you again on my love's channel. Bye!